Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
There he is, Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department here on Purple Daily, drinking some sort of iced coffee situation. A little Dunkin'. All you guys have some sort
Not Dunkin'. McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Nice and simple. 99 cents on the app. Works just
Diet
fine.
Coke, Declan? What do you got?
No, it's iced coffee. Cold brew. Cold brew.
Beautiful.
Ooh.
Cold brew. Love some cold brew.
And you're upstairs right now in the studio, Declan?
I'm in the only occupied studio that works. Yes. My talk now is in Score Studio.
Okay, fine. Fair. Okay, so you have cold brew upstairs? Like when I'm done here in this dungeon, this Zoom room, this TV Zoom room, I can come upstairs and get some cold brew?
No, I get it in the caf, man. Brian and Tom. They make cold brew in there. Yeah.
Which is actually right outside my door. So okay.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, Brian
say hello.
In there, yeah. Send Brian over. You can talk about fantasy football with us, and then you can get your cold brew, all right?
Kicked our behinds last year. That man is a machine.
So, breaking news, at least from late yesterday, we have a Vikings unofficial depth chart because they have to put out starters and backups. They don't do like second team, third team, really, right? It's starters and backups for the first preseason game on Saturday here. So I don't know if you guys have fully combed through all of this yet or if there's any big surprises that jump out. It seems pretty in line with what we've seen during training camp practices. And some of this doesn't account for like who may or may not be available for Saturday, but cornerbacks right now, Byron Murphy Jr. and Isaiah Rodgers are your 2 starting outside cornerbacks with the first listed backups as Jeff Okudah and Mekhi Blackman. We've seen that Okudah is higher up than Blackman because he's jumping in the subsets. And then your starting safeties are Harrison Smith and Josh Metellus, with Theo Jackson and Jay Ward as the listed backups, even though the Vikings have for 2 years played 3 safeties on the field for almost every single snap. And then, defensive line, Jonathan Allen, Harrison Phillips, Javon Hargrave, with your backups being Levi Drake Rodriguez, Jalen Redmond, Tyrone and Ingram Dawkins. And then 2 starting edge rushers, Grenard and Van Ginkel, with Dallas Turner and Gabe Murphy as the pairing behind them. Bo Richter and Tyler Batty. So I don't know, anything jump out to you guys on the unofficial depth chart here?
I'm not sure anything like absolutely jumps out, but just solidifying that when you draft Jackson in the first round, Donovan Jackson, that, okay, the idea is he is your new starting left guard. Well, this first unofficial depth chart solidifies that. Not that there's been any doubt. In fact, I think he's looked pretty darn good when I've keyed in on him the last couple weeks. But all things moving forward with the Vikings having a new starting left guard. Otherwise, Judd, I'm not sure anything overly jumps out at me. There are no real surprises to me.
Yeah, I found the defensive tackle. So the starters were 0 surprises. I thought some of the backups and how they're listed is intriguing. Defensive tackle, the top backup, Levi Drake Rodriguez. Jalen Redmond 2, and then Ingram Dawkins 3. So and to me, Levi Drake Rodriguez and Redmond in training camp have both looked really good. It helps that they are now sort of rotational guys as well. There's not you've got to be with first team. And it was interesting, though. I will say this. 2 of the last 3 practices, the first one was a veteran rest day. The second one was yesterday, and we don't know why exactly. Javon Hargrave sitting out. Now, he had the torn bicep early last season. He missed the rest of the year. It very well could be just a rest thing. But again, with Ryan Kelly, the center out, for instance, out with an elbow. To use your term, it's all a reminder of, you've got a bunch of veteran guys here who have been banged up before. So your depth guys become incredibly important, Dukes.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Ryan Kelly did participate in the walkthrough on Wednesday. Elbow issue. I have nothing, at least what I've gathered, that leads me to believe that's some sort of long-term issue. So all should be fine on the Ryan Kelly front. But yeah, when you sign all these guys, even a Jeff Okudah, who was hurt last year, you're putting a lot of faith in the Vikings training staff, medical staff to ensure that these guys can play. Maybe it's not 17 games, but double-digit games, that there's not going to be something that sets these guys back sometime in September, that is some sort of long-term issue. Now, those backup defensive tackles, Judd, like to me, they're all making the 53-man. Like those names,
agreed.
Drake Rodriguez, Redmond, Ingram Dawkins, like they're making the 53-man. So like I'm still trying to figure out, like legitimately, what are the position battles? Like I brought this up on Tuesday, but at this point, I would not have, and hey, I like him personally. Locker room DJ, good dude. But Brian Asamoah, I don't think he's making it. So is that a trade or is that a release? His name did come up briefly in trade talks in the middle of last year. So like that's what I'm keying in on right now. Some of these position battles, who makes the 53, who doesn't. Clearly the number 2 quarterback with Brett Rippon getting maybe a little bit more opportunity with those second team snaps. But is the number 2 quarterback currently on the roster? Wouldn't be shocked if the answer is no. But that's what intrigues me the most. I mean, good for them. There really isn't any sort of, oh my God, injury situation. Like Justin Jefferson, I've noted, like to me, 1 month from tomorrow, the opening game in Chicago, like Jefferson is going to be out there. Whether he's out there next week against the Patriots, joint practices, okay, maybe that's a long shot. But September 8th, there's no concern. I just think that's one of those tricky injuries that can come back and haunt you. But like September 8th, no real concern. I mean, outside of Gavin Bartholomew, backup offensive lineman Matt Nelson, I was told a pretty significant biceps injury suffered during the Monday night practice/scrimmage, but he was a long shot to make the 53-man. So, outside of Bartholomew, somebody that'll be here when the regular season starts, there really isn't any sort of long-term injury concern.
Let's talk about Jefferson for a second, because I've come to a new sort of theory about what is transpiring here. And by the way, I agree with it. But so he tweaks his hamstring a little bit on the second day of camp, and he gets pulled out, which was smart, and he hasn't practiced since. And look, I agree with you. You do not want to screw around with a hamstring. At the time, I said I would shut him down. Who cares? Like, it's not worth it. But Kevin Seifert, our friend from ESPN, asked O'Connell yesterday if we might see Justin next week in the joint practices. And Kevin gave a very roundabout, I'm not going to tell you, maybe, we hope so. But your conclusion was, no, we're not going to see him. To which then I said to O'Connell, I said, how much of this is because you've known a Jordan Addison suspension is coming down the pike for a long time now. Like what happened was zero surprise to everybody, including the Vikings. And my question was, how much of what you're doing with Justin is predicated on that? Because if you put him out there and he gets hurt in practice and you go into Chicago with whomever as your top receiver, Jalen Naylor, I guess. And he said, that's part of it. He said, we are definitely. So I have full confidence that if they absolutely thought it was necessary for Justin Jefferson to get practice, Dukes, that he would be practicing right now. He's out on the field every day. He looks good. He's not running patterns, but he's running pretty well. I think what's happened here is they said, you showed up at OTAs, which you don't ordinarily do, Justin. You showed up at minicamp. You went in July and worked with McCarthy. And O'Connell brought this up too. He said, 2020, Jefferson is drafted. There is no preseason. There is no joint practices. He doesn't take part in any of those things because he can't. He's never played in a preseason game in his career. And O'Connell's point is he doesn't need to. So I really think what we are seeing is the practice equivalent of what basketball does with resting veteran guys. I think they are like, he could practice, but why? And I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I mean, I guess the one blowback would be how important are reps, the timing, McCarthy to Jefferson. But yeah, I mean, they were at Woodbury High School a few weeks ago, getting some work in. The spring, plenty of work was gotten in, right? So, sure. Yeah, I mean, heck, I've watched Justin run off to the side. Yeah, you see him run across the practice field. Yeah, okay, he's not running routes, but you watch him run, he looks just fine. We are still 4 weeks away from anything mattering, right? So there is no doubt that Justin Jefferson is going to be okay on September 8th. I do think at some point, maybe it's that last week of August, or maybe it's just when things ramp up, Bears preparation week, that Jefferson gets some good reps in. But yeah, I'm fine with that. And hey, like they still need to figure out, do they need to go and get a wide receiver? Now, I'm with KOC. When you dismantle the 49ers and Texans last year without Addison, that means something. Oh, by the way, TJ Hawkinson was out for those games last September as well. And like I checked on Keenan Allen. Like the Vikings there wasn't anything there, right? And he comes off the board earlier this week going back to the Chargers. But it's not like the Vikings inquired nothing. I mean, there wasn't anything there. And that's just one example. I'm not saying, hey, no chance on Amari Cooper, or you name the free agent wide receiver, Gabe Davis, right? But I just don't have any steam right now. So I think they're going to give a lot of these guys a bit more runway, certainly through the joint practices next week. Then if they need to react, so be it. But yeah, you can sell me on your theory that, hey, especially with a soft tissue issue, like there's no reason. Like if you're ever going to be overly conservative, considering the player, everything, like, yes, be overly conservative. So yeah, that makes sense. But I'm just telling you in the audience, like to me, there's nothing to worry about when it comes to that Bears opener.
You kind of mentioned, what, like you asked the question, Doogie, what are the current position battles? And, it's a good problem to have if you're the Vikings when, as I sort of think through this exercise and list out, I think these are the biggest battles. I think there's 4 battles, quote unquote, of note, but they're all like second, third, or fourth on the depth chart. And then there's a couple backup situations that aren't battles right now, but you might need to go outside the organization. So number 3 running back is a battle. Ty Chandler and Xavier Scott are probably, unless there's an external guy that you can claim. Number 3 cornerback, I still think is kind of a battle. Okuda's pretty solidly in there right now, but Mekhi Blackman they like. And then Dwight McLaughlin's been real noisy in a good way at camp. So I'm just kind of putting those guys in a stew. And then the number 3, number 4 wide receiver spots that elevates to number 2, number 3 for the first 3 games. Naylor, Rondale Moore, Lucky Jackson, Ty Felton, Adam Thielen. Number 3 tight end. So there's a few, but they're all like number 3 on the depth chart, these battles right now, which will play out in part during these preseason games.
All right, well, can I chime in on Adam Thielen?
Oh, did I say his name? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Here's what I would like tell fans to key in on. Do the Panthers get off to a slow start? Are they 1-3, 0-4 into October? My understanding is, I don't know if it's been implied or not, but the two sides, the Thielen camp, the Panthers, that if it goes sideways, that they will do Thielen the favor and give him an opportunity to chase a championship at the trade deadline. But the Panthers think the world of Adam. Mm-hmm. They're loving things right now. There's no drama right now, but, you start reading some things and hearing some things and, second year in that system, Bryce Young took off the end of last year. Like the Panthers seem to be pretty darn excited right now. So like, I haven't heard that the Panthers right now are interested in trading Adam Thielen. To me, it's something to keep an eye on as we inch closer to the trade deadline. But do I foresee the Vikings trading for Adam Thielen anytime soon? No. I can just tell you that in the moment here of August 7th. Now, hey, you want to circle back to me on August 20th or August 25th? Fine. Like, to me, it's going to be a talker because I'm not quite sure Adam Thielen will finish the season in Carolina. But right in this moment, there just isn't any Adam Thielen steam. What about kick returner, punt returner, Silas Bolden? Speaking of Ty Chandler, I thought Chandler had a good practice on Wednesday when thinking about that RB3. But I think there's a legit battle there. Who is kick returner 1? Who is punt returner 1?
Yeah, and what's interesting about that, you guys, is the fact that right now, Rondale Moore is punt returner 1 on the initial depth chart, and Ty Felton, who's a third-round pick, who's going to make the team, but I don't think he is prepared to play as a wide receiver in games in any primary role yet, is the starter at kick returner, and he's clearly the guy that they want to handle the football and kick return. So I think that's a interesting tell, more so on Rondale Moore, because I've tried to decide, is he going to make it? What does he have to show coming off that bad injury we talked about a couple days ago? But Rondale Moore looks right now like he will probably make the team as things are currently constructed. And that's interesting. I will say this, Sam Howell might have thrown his best pass of camp on Wednesday.
Wow.
A red zone drill from the 20, put it in there, beat Dwight McLaughlin to Rondale Moore on a gorgeous sideline touchdown pass. And Moore made a nice play too. So it's telling. Now, I see Moore as more of sort of a gimmick guy. I don't know that he's a guy that you can play consistently, but it's going to be the preseason game. If you're going to key in on a few things on Saturday, I would say this. And Jalen Naylor didn't practice in team or 7-on-7 yesterday. So I don't know if something's wrong or if there is, how bad that might be. But if you're going to key in on something, key in on the wide receivers who do play. Because this is a battle royale right now, in my opinion. Like with the first team yesterday, we saw Thayer Thomas, Lucky Jackson, Rondale Moore. Like they were mixing in everybody. So like this is like open mic night for the receivers. So it's going to be, I think Saturday is going to be very telling with McCarthy and without him about, I think you're going to have a chance to move up the depth chart in the game itself.
Hey, everybody. You hear the one about the rabbi and the priest? It's Thayer Thomas. I'll be here all night.
Hey, my name's Lucky. I'm going to get lucky tonight, am I right? Get no respect.
See,
Also big
what's
for
he,
Sam Howell.
Dangerfield? I get no respect here.
I get no respect.
I'm a 28-year-old receiver. I get no respect.
I play in the CFL. I play in the XFL.
Even my
I play-
quarterback doesn't
no
like
respect.
me. So bad, the quarterback comes home and says, "You're no catch at all."
Speaking of the XFL, I was bonding with one of their scouts, making the rounds of practice a couple days ago. The Michigan, is it the Stallions? Is that their team name? I don't even remember.
Panthers?
Panthers,
They've
whatever.
changed these names now.
That's
It
the
used to be the
UFL.
Panthers.
Oh, is that the UFL? I can't even keep them straight.
The USFL was the
Maybe
Panthers.
it was
I know
the
that.
UFL. The Michigan team. Anyway, scouts making the rounds at all the NFL training camps. Yeah, I mean, Sam Howell, it's a big game for him on Saturday, right? I mean, the narrative right now is, okay, we think the Vikings need to go out and get a number 2 quarterback. The number 2 quarterback isn't currently on the roster. Well, Sam Howell can shut us up a little bit if he plays well on Saturday. They do love Thomas, whatever jokes we want to make. I mean, 89 is somebody they think highly of. Lucky Jackson has gotten a number of first-team opportunities, number 81. So, yeah, 89, 81.
Deshaun Jones.
Rondale Moore. Keep an eye on those
82.
guys. Yeah.
Speaking of receivers and sort of looking into the future, I do have a speculative question for you here in just a moment, Dukes. But for all the men of Purple Daily, a really important message here for a moment. There is a massive need for organ donors both in Minnesota and nationwide right now. Men specifically, only 57% of people in the Minnesota region are registered on their driver's license or state ID, and 2,000 people in Minnesota are waiting for a life-saving transplant. There's not enough organs to meet the need. I mean, any of us could wind up being one of those 2,000 people waiting for a transplant. The majority of those 2,000 are men. That number is 100,000 people across the country waiting for a transplant. There's 4 ways to register as a donor. Number 1, your driver's license. Just check the donor box the next time you renew or apply for a driver's license. Online at life-source.org. In your iPhone health app, you can register as a donor, or when purchasing a hunting or fishing license online. So let's help save some lives. Let's get that 57% number up. The men of Purple Daily, we appreciate your help in this regard. Also a reminder, we are going to be at the Minnesota State Fair starting August 21st. That's a Thursday, every weekday at the State Fair, the 21st, the 22nd, and then the Monday through Friday following. Score North podcasts from noon to 3 or 4 o'clock every day. Purple Daily live at 1 o'clock every day at the Score North podcast stage, which is just like on the left edge of the grandstand as you're looking at it, on the outside of it, obviously, across from the Sweet Martha's Cookies Barn, one of the 3 of them. We'll have a website up soon with some more information, but yeah, we'd love to see as many of you as possible. I know Doogs is going to be out there a couple times with us that full week on the Tuesday and the Thursday. So yeah, the Minnesota State Fair, come on out, hang out with us. There's seating. You'll get to maybe touch the Sports Dad's camp notes for the first time. That's right.
Chad?
You can just walk
That
by.
sounds really creepy. That sounds really creepy, but they are right here. So
it's like that Notre Dame play like a champion sign. Everyone can walk by.
Yeah, you can walk by
slap
and
the camp notes.
right there.
We need to get Judd to the 21st. Closed circuit to Judd. Heat index. Jonathan Uhas, Channel 5 meteorologist, right to my left.
Yeah.
Here in the dungeon, the Zoom room at Channel 5. He tells me the heat index today, 91.
Aggressive.
So when we're out there today, sunscreen, bucket hat, water. Please protect yourself, Sports Dad.
Thank you. No, I have done a really good job this camp. I'm not got all burnt up. The bucket hat is huge. Our new tent that we get to stand in is fantastic.
That's the key. It's so not you. It's a credit to the Vikings PR staff.
Well, they looked at me and they said, "This man's going to die. What can we do to avoid? What can we do to avoid that?" So I do appreciate what the Vikings PR has done. Great job.
I love it. Yep. And I will see you guys. Yeah, certainly the week of the 25th. Probably Tuesday the 26th, Thursday the 28th. Unfortunately, tied up on Thursday the 21st. But definitely we'll bond with you guys at the fair.
Hey, I know we have just a couple more minutes here with you, but and we can talk more about this throughout the year. But when Jordan Addison comes back, he's probably going to be productive, just as he's been. He's 19 touchdowns over 2 years. And next offseason would be the first checkpoint for a potential new contract. And right now, the going rate for really good number 2 wide receivers or number ones that aren't quite Jefferson and Jamar Chase is like $30 million a year. So how would you, if you're just kind of, sitting in your office at TCO Performance Center, looking ahead at the roster, how would you regard the Jordan Addison contract extension discussion right now?
Well, I mean, I think you try to get in front of it, right? Like, you don't want this thing to linger. So, yeah, to me, the first opportunity you can to extend his representation and offer, if I'm Rob Brzezinski, I'm interested in doing that. To me, I want Jordan Addison here for his second contract. The question is, what exactly does that look like? Declan, can you Google quickly the Garrett Wilson contract with the Jets? Because to me, that is the starting point when thinking about a year from now. Like, I can't foresee Jordan putting pen to paper for less than what Garrett Wilson got. Now, hey, we can argue Garrett Wilson, clear-cut number 1 receiver with the Jets. Okay, Jordan Addison, clear-cut number 2 receiver here. But if you put the numbers side by side, and a lot goes into those numbers, I get that. But you can make that comparison. It's a fair comparison, Garrett Wilson to Jordan Addison. So what exactly did Garrett Wilson get from the Jets?
4 years, $130 million. What's also interesting about that contract, there is no guaranteed money after 26 on that deal for Garrett Wilson.
Interesting.
So
what was the guarantee, though?
2 years of guarantees?
Pretty much, yeah. A 4-year extension of $130 million, $90 million is guaranteed, of which 38.3 was guaranteed at signing.
Yeah, okay. That sounds right. It's like
all
3
right, well,
years.
That means the baseline, Phil. I mean, like, I don't think Jordan is taking less than that.
Yeah.
What are you paying though? Like, if you're at the Vikings, you're locked into Jefferson. He deserved and got a huge contract. Are you really going to expend that much on another wide receiver, or are you going to try to draft one again? That's my question.
Well, you certainly should always be looking to draft one, yeah.
But I'm saying like a first round receiver.
Sure. Well, I'm
not
never
just like a third
round. But yeah, I mean, it's the cop out. But how exactly does this year go? But thinking about the next handful of years, okay, TJ Hawkinson's contract is off the books.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, to me, I'm investing heavily in 2 receiving targets. Well, okay, that's Jefferson, that's Addison. And so I'm inclined, you hit on a first-round pick. Yeah, okay, off the field, he's got to stay, the way he's been for the last year. No more hiccups off the field. I think he fully grasps that. But, yeah, I'm inclined to say, that guy I'm keeping. That guy I'm paying. I hit on that first-round pick. I'm keeping him for his second contract. But I'm just saying, like, I can't envision him signing for less than that Garrett Wilson contract.
Yeah.
And if the next couple of years or the next year goes absolutely fantastic, which would be awesome, he might just price himself out too. Because the thing is, like, being behind Jefferson is huge, but you don't find a lot of really good players who say, I'm really successful because the guy in front of me is so good. So I wonder too if he would not just get the money, but also the number 1 role with another team. I mean, that's got to be a possibility.
Sure. Now, did Ayuk also sign an extension with the Niners? Is that another one?
Yeah, he's at like $30 million a year.
Okay. So, I mean, that is the baseline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it, right? And I get it. Ayuk maybe now is number 1. Debo, I don't even know how to view Debo now with the Commanders, but whatever Debo was.
The Bengals are probably the best
Jennings
example,
is pretty
right?
good too with the Niners, right? And so now the Niners are maybe sort of in a comparable situation trying to figure out Juwan Jennings, like, okay, how much do we pay him? Not that Jennings is, to me, quite Addison, but he's pretty darn good. And so I bet John Lynch is some of these conversations we're having, I'm sure they're having in the Niners front office. But yeah, Ayuk at $30 million a year. Yeah, I mean, that's the number, Phil, right? That's absolutely the number. Now, what's the franchise tag number? I get it. The Vikings aren't inclined to use the franchise tag, but if it came down to it, now it's a big number for the receiver position, but do you hold on to him for one additional year so you have him for multiple more years, then, worry about 2028, much later on, but you lock him up for the 2027 season, right? Because the rookie deal, is it up after the 26 season, Phil? Do I have that right?
It is. Let's see here. So
or
this
the
is
fifth-year
his third
option
year.
is 27.
27 is the more expensive fifth-year option, but not like super. It is fairly expensive though, because that hits your books in 2000. You'd like to get a deal done to smooth that number out, ideally.
Yes, but if need be, you feel pretty good about securing him through the 28 season if you had to use the franchise tag one time. And I get it, the wide receiver franchise tag, that's not slowing down. So imagine what that'll be in 2028. But I feel pretty good about Addison being here for a handful of more years.
Yeah. We know you got to run here. Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department on Purple Daily, Dukes. We'll see you next week, man.
All right, boys. Enjoy the game on Saturday. Jed, I'll see you in a few hours.
Awesome. See you, Dukes.
All right, there he is. Purple Daily, a little bonus episode here today. Also, don't forget to check out the Thursday episode where J.J. McCarthy discussion took place. Yeah, shocking. Purple Daily, we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.